The latest Getprice index of online shopping has been released. For some analysis on what's hot and what's not on the net, I'm joined now by Chief Executive of Getprice, Chris Hitchen. Chris, welcome to the show and welcome back to Australia. You've been in the United States. Let's start with that. I just want to get your first-hand insight into the mood, particularly in the retail space. How are consumers travelling?
Yeah, look, it's funny. I actually spent some time on the Santa Monica Boulevard there in California. Lovely spot. And going along through there, through places like Venice Beach and so on, I could hear the street vendors and the musicians and the guys that hang out there, the so-called freaks of Venice. I could hear these guys talking about Lehman Brothers and the credit crunch. And I found it incredible. You know, you hear it everywhere on the streets through the US at the moment. It's really prevalent in the minds of people. So it's definitely a big factor, but the people are, it seems, there's a slowdown in retail offline. Online is feeling less of the pinch.
Tell me about how that is picking up steam with some of those US retailers even now coming to Australia. That's kind of a big impact on our local players. Yeah,
huge impact. And it's fantastic news for the consumer. So we've already seen JC Penney and Costco talk about their plans for launching in Australia. These are $1.5 billion businesses online in the US.
And in the market, where would you place them alongside, local players?
In terms of online, they're leagues ahead, to be honest. The sophistication of those guys and their offering to the consumer online is far ahead of what Australian can offer at the moment. We've also got other guys like Overstock.com. It's an $800 million online business, and CSN Stores, $200 million online business. These are significant online businesses, so it's great news for the consumer in terms of choice.
And just to be clear, this is going to enable Australians to buy and not have to worry about customs and all that other kerfuffle with, buying offshore. They're going to have domestic operations, supply chains going on here.
Exactly right. So they will have local operations. You can buy from the local store. You're buying from a brand where you know you've got a trusted product and trusted service.
And we're talking, everything from groceries right up. I mean, is it a Walmart-style thing, or are we just talking the kind of the non-perishables?
Yeah, look, I think that remains to be seen from these guys. I think we're talking first of all about non-perishables. But Costco, they sell everything from groceries to cars in the US, and so it could be a wide range.
Tell me about the trend as well. You've got some numbers on the last 2 years in terms of the desire of people to look at discount items in particular and compare prices on the lowest price.
Yeah, according to a company called Hitwise, who measure global internet traffic, they've said that over the last 2 years they've measured value-based searches across the internet. And what's interesting over the last 2 years is that you've got massive growth in terms like compare, discount and prices. So growth from 120%, 83%, 80%. It's huge growth in people actually using those type of terms when they search. So rather than perhaps searching for a digital camera like they may have before, now we're seeing it's much more about digital camera prices or compare prices on digital cameras. So it's a real trend. It's something that we're seeing more and more of on the getprice.com.au website. We've seen in the last couple of months 25% growth. So from 750,000 people visiting the site a month to now 1 million, and that's very much in contradiction to what's going on elsewhere in the world.
Who is out there slashing and burning and responding to that kind of discount desire out there?
It's funny because you've got some of the big household retailers who are saying, it's not all about price, so we'd rather offer great service. But then on the other side, you've got some of the guys, particularly drop shippers out of Asia, who perhaps don't have the local warehouse and have cost advantages. They can ship directly to a consumer from Asia, and you see them slashing prices more so than the big household retailers. But again, for the consumer, it's about choice. You go onto a site like Getprice, comparison website, go and compare prices and actually say, hey, either I want the cheapest or I want perhaps one that's $50 more, but I'd like the service that goes with that.
Tell me the top 10 that's sort of driving interest at the moment. I mean, what are we buying?
Yeah, so we've got some interesting trends. It looks like the start of summer, and we can see really the changes in the weather as we go. So people are starting to look good for the beach. We've got push-up aids, we've got bikes, we've got...
we're meant to do that in the winter, to get yourself right for the summer.
We've got vitamins and minerals, skincare, Gucci sunglasses, cameras, watches. There's $12,000 watches you can get on Getprice, so it's a huge range.
Right. But so much for a consumer downturn.
Well, you'd think so. I mean, I guess people do turn to the internet and say, there's still things I want to buy, whether they're presents or for myself, and when I buy now, I'm going to be more discerning.
Just briefly, finally, let's just break down the states. Who is powering growth on these sites? And, if anything, who are the biggest cities?
Yeah, we've been doing this for 6 months now, and state-wise, Queensland remains on top. So Queenslanders are the biggest online shoppers in Australia. City-wise, Sydney, followed by Melbourne and then Brisbane. Very good, Chris. Look, we'll leave it there. Appreciate it. Always interesting to get the latest trends. Chris Hitchen, getprice.com.au. Many thanks. Thanks. All right, see you next month.